Good morning from Big Sky Country. I'm Stacy, owner of Montana Used Bricks. And today we're doing a food for thought video. I went out and looked at some of the comments, questions, and concerns that were out on the Facebook Bricklink page. And I found a couple that I thought were interesting and struck me as something that was worth talking about. So the first one is, just wondering what you use to label these up with. I've only got a couple, so don't need anything too fancy, but I've only got 6x4 label printer, so thought I'd ask. So when we numbered all our stack-ons, what we did is we used our shipping labels because they're sticky, so you just peel them off. And we just ran these through the printer. I created an Excel spreadsheet with all the numbers, just ran this through the printer, and then we cut them up and put them on. I say we, actually it was my mom who did all of that after we moved in our shop. But she was nice enough to get all of these labeled so that they're all labeled here. The one thing I wish I would have taken into consideration is that the lower stack-ons, we really should have put the label up here, because when you're looking down you really can't see the number and you have to bend down to see what the number is. That's the only thing I'd probably change if I was to redo some of these, is I would put the number on the actual pole on the drawer so that we could see them when they're on the lower stack-ons. For some of our other organizers, we've used our little brother printer and just printed out labels. If we're not going to be printing out a whole lot, I just didn't want to do that with all of these when you're doing 1,000 of them. That's quite a bit. The third thing that we've done is we've just used little post-it notes about this size and just wrote box number or the stackable number and just use shipping tape and tape them to the stackable. There's lots of ways to label things so that they're clear. But I just thought that was an interesting question because, yeah, you want something that's going to stay on there and not something that's going to take you 5 hours to number either. And we've found that using sticky stuff usually works best. The next one is about sorting. Hello, I'm after a bit of advice. I know not to sort by color, but by piece. I'm not a seller. This is for my own collection. What would be the simplest way to sort? How many draws would I need roughly for a semi-medium spare parts collection? I did a whole video on my sorting process. There are a lot of people who sort by color and that works out great for them. For me, I sort by category, and I generally sort out anywhere from 5 to 8 categories at a time. I always look on Bricklink to see what I have the most parts of, so I have an idea of what I should sort first. Usually it ends up being the things I sort out first are bricks, plates, sloped, modified plates, plate rounds, and then sometimes brick modified or anything else that I notice I have more of in that sort than I normally would. Sometimes I'll sort out wheels and tires just because they take up a lot of space. But as I've said, I've done a video on this and I'll put a link up here so that you can go and look at that. My sorting process takes quite a bit of time just because of the way I do it, but I've always done it that way, and I get into a pretty good groove, so I can do it faster than if I was to try to change it now that I've come up with my own way to sort. I would be interested to hear if people sort by color or by category, or if you have some other way that you sort. Go ahead and put that in the comments below, because I'm sure others would be interested in having some different ideas on the quickest way to sort used parts. Kind of along the same lines, there's another question that came up. Does anyone hire out sorting for their Bricklink store? If so, what tends to be the going rate? I have heard a few of the guys on YouTube say that they contract out the first general category sort and pay by the tub, but I'm having trouble wrapping my head around a dollar amount. And this is actually a really good question. I tend to have family help me, so I pay really cheap. I generally pay my mom about $5 an hour plus dinner. But my mom's retired and she really enjoys just coming over and spending time over here, so it's really not about the money for her. I've also had my grandsons helping me, and I pay them the $5 an hour, but they also tend to wander and talk and start building with the blocks instead of actually sorting them. So I'm not going to pay them a lot of money. I am the same way. I have heard of people on YouTube that pay by the tub or pay by the pound. I'm at that point where I really could use somebody to really come in and do a good sort for me, but at the same time, I don't really make enough money to pay them basically what would equal to minimum wage to sort through the bricks. And like I told my husband, it's kind of that catch-22, because it's like, maybe if I did have somebody come in and do a sort and really help me get things into inventory, I'd have more inventory, I'd sell more bricks, and then I could afford to pay them. It's that initial paying somebody to get that whole process started that I'm just not comfortable with yet. So maybe in the future. Again, I'm looking for feedback in this video today. So if you do contract out to have people help you sort your used bricks, put in the comments below what you pay, because I've also heard that some people just pay like maybe $5, $10 a pound, but like they said, they can take them home and they can watch TV while they're sorting. So put in the comments below if that's something you have done or if you're thinking about doing. Again, I'm always interested in how others are doing things. Okay, this next one, I had to kind of laugh. I read it right the first time I read this, but on the forums, a lot of people were reading it kind of backwards. The person that posted this is the buyer, and that's important as we read through this. So this gentleman posted, "I love a good mystery, but..." Seller, I was a few parts short. Me, do you have a listing of what part was missing? Seller, no, I do not do a list for the missing parts. As a seller, I was really surprised by this, because if you're missing parts, you want to let the buyer know not only that you're missing the parts, but exactly what parts are missing. And the reason for this is that part that you might think, oh, it's not a big deal, they ordered 100 parts and I'm missing 5 of this one part. That one part may be the reason the person came to your store in the first place. So I always let people know what parts are missing, and I write out a list. A list is usually when it's a 1,000-part order. Usually it's just one part. And I'll say like missing 2 of 10 of the dark bluish gray 2x2 brick. That just lets them know that, okay, they're still getting 8 of them, there's 2 missing, and exactly what's missing. If it's a part where I'm fairly certain that's the part that drew them into the store because it's a unique part, it's a rare part, or that's a majority of their order, I will also ask them, do you need to cancel this order so you can order it somewhere else? I would never tell somebody, oh, you're missing some parts, and then not bother to tell them what the parts are. That just kind of floored me that there's a store out there that would do that, but reading some of the forum posts and some of the things on Bricklink, there's a lot of stores out there that just don't put a lot of effort into what they're doing. The last one on my list is kind of long, so bear with me as I read through this. I got an email alert that an instruction set I need had been added to a shop at $15. I went to the store, added it to the cart, and tried to check out, but there was some kind of shipping settings issue that wouldn't let me buy it, as it said the item exceeded the box proportions. I reached out to the seller, he gave me a bypass password, then he immediately raised the price of the item to $19. Knowing that I was in the middle of purchasing and that no one else would be able to purchase without reaching out and getting a bypass, doesn't that seem rather shady? There are really HTF instructions that I want before I put a set up for sale, but the principle of it all does not set well with me. And I gotta say, it doesn't set well with me either, as a buyer or as a seller. There's actually 2 things going on here I wanted to talk about. Is I've had the same issue with instructions. I've had simple instruction books that have pushed the shipping up to a large flat rate box. And I have no idea why. It's just maybe the proportions of it or something. I have it now set that anything that doesn't fit into a bubble wrap mailer automatically becomes a manual invoice for this reason, just because of the instruction books. And I haven't had it with any other parts, just instruction books. So that's one issue that I've kind of learned to work around. Or if people question, why is the shipping so high, I'll tell them do a quote so that I can give them a quote on it. And it's usually an instruction book that's causing issues. The other part of this, of raising the price, when you know somebody has already seen it at one price, to go and raise it because you notice that maybe the 6-month average, or the fact that, oh, they really want this, I'm going to charge a little bit more because I know they need this. That's shady. There's no other way around it. That's not good business practice in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to assume that the people watching this video that have Bricklink stores wouldn't do this. I would like to think that the people watching this would not be one of those stores that do it. But if there is somebody out there that has done it and they have a justifiable reason for doing it, I would love to hear it. So put that in the comments below. So that's it for today's video. If you liked it, go ahead and give it that thumbs up. If you really liked it, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.